God when I in awesome wonder consider all the works thy hands have made. I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, oh, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art.
Hey everybody, this is Pastor Will and
Jimmy.
And this is the world famous Will and
Jimmy Show.
And I was going to drink this water real quickly, Jimmy, before it turns into an icicle.
Yeah, no kidding.
How y'all doing tonight?
Cold.
A little bit chilly, isn't
A
it?
little snowy.
Just a little bit on the wintry side.
We got it.
Yeah.
We
Well,
finally
and
got
guess
it.
what? You got the big award for the first snow. You missed it by 5 days.
I did, but that's pretty close.
I missed
yeah.
it by about 40 days. But hey, we if you're viewing this outside of the area of Kingsport, we probably have roughly 8 to 10 inches in the city area wide, and then it's really frozen and slick, and all the side streets are really difficult yet traveling to get clean. So it's wintertime in Tennessee.
It is. It's January.
Yes, and
Tennessee January.
you know what? In a few months we'll be thinking, "Oh my, it's so hot." But God will send what God will send.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
all good. Jimmy, how you doing?
Doing just fine. It's
Good.
it was beautiful snow.
Yes, it was.
Really enjoyed it.
It was beautiful.
Got out last night a little late. You know, it started raining here in Kingsport.
I didn't know
about
that.
9 o'clock or so.
Oh,
And everything turned into a wet slush mess.
well, now
So,
about that time, I looked out, and honestly, the flakes, I'm not exaggerating, they were this big. They were like almost like golf balls.
Yeah.
And it was just thick, beautiful. And it did that
It
for about
was-
30 minutes.
It rained enough for it not to be so slick, and I got out and took some pictures.
Yeah.
You know, and just
And
got
then-
out looking around.
And then today, the quick freeze came back.
Yes.
And
The temperature dropped so fast this
Yeah.
morning. Like at about 8 o'clock, it was 29, 30, and then by 9 o'clock, it was 19 or 20. It dropped 10 degrees.
wonder what
that quick.
wonder what the latest temperature
I
was.
don't know, but it's really cold. The
Yeah, it's
wind is
dropping
really
down.
cold. So chances are it's going to freeze on some of the side streets tonight. So be careful
Yeah.
if you have to get out.
Yeah, of course, you're getting this on Wednesday, but it's still a lot of winter coming the rest of this week.
Right.
Yeah, we're expecting more snow plus colder temperatures.
Yes, tonight, as we're watching this, tonight's temperature should be, around zero
Yeah.
from what I hear.
Yeah.
So be
So everybody
safe.
stay safe. There are warming stations in place. We want to thank Jeff's Towing and the, what's it called, Shepherd's Watch Ministries.
Watch, yes.
And Preaching Christ Church has opened up for a couple of nights. Salvation Army is white flagging.
Right.
So there has been adequate shelter for all the folks. We are here every day. Someone asked why Shades isn't opening as a overnight station. Well, to be honest, we are here 6 days a week. And we're feeding sometimes well over 2,000 meals every month.
Yes.
And doing all the things that we can do. And we have to sleep just like you do, okay? So is enough said, Jimmy?
That's the truth. I mean,
And
that's
we're
the-
only one
that's
of
the
about
truth.
150 churches in Kingsport, so I'll just say, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are
yeah,
you doing?
The ones
Okay.
who are asking,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah, right, okay.
Just for example, today, Tuesday, we had our friends from Cross Connection Church with us here.
Mm-hmm.
They prepared and provided the bag meals today.
Yes.
And normally on a morning that's this snowy and just nasty cold, it's really slow, and a lot of people don't come out. Hang on there just a second. Pause.
Station break. Take it out.
We're
Okay.
back.
Back again.
Listen, but what I was saying is today, Cross Connection was here today, and it was a very, very busy morning considering the weather circumstances. We were really short on volunteers today because a lot of people couldn't get out, so
Right.
we didn't have our women's showers today. Our clothing closet was
Right.
closed, but we still provided.
Right.
We ended up doing about 90 bag meals
Wow,
today.
okay.
And we gave out clothing, we gave out coats, we gave out dry clothing. A lot of people were wearing
Socks, gloves.
some shoes, toboggans, hot hands, all
Yeah,
those things. That did not stop.
Right.
We continually do that.
Right, and we do that every day.
Every
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
every day, and so everybody, we try to get to where we pick up where they leave off,
Right.
and do a cycle.
Right, exactly.
So thankfully though, we had the Shepherd's Watch not stepped up
Yeah.
and done this, we would really be hurting.
Yeah.
And this is a real talk
Yes.
section here.
Yes.
And with social media, that adds a whole new element to the opinions of people.
Right.
They have an outlet, and I believe that Jeff Kaiser opening up the Shepherd's Watch has really put pressure on other agencies, other churches, other organizations to
do
finally
something.
step up and
Yes.
do something.
Yes.
So hold that thought 1 second. Okay. But yeah, it's put pressure on them to actually do something, and that's good.
It
That's
is good. Yes.
A lot of people call us and ask us why the homeless shelter in Kingsport is not open. We don't have that answer.
Yeah, we're not a part of that.
A lot of people
so-
assume
Right.
that we are due that we're Shades of Grace and it's Grace House, but it's two totally
Right.
separate things.
Right.
We have nothing to do with their decisions and
Right.
process, and the same goes here.
Right. We are a
but-
United Methodist congregation.
Right.
They are an agency funded by churches and faith, and you'll have to call them and find out all
We don't have those answers.
the answers.
Yeah, but it has been, when it's kind of hard to smile today.
It's been hard. Tell
It's-
us, Jimmy, what all we're dealing with.
Well, first thing this morning, as soon as I walked in the door, the phone rang, and it was from a brother of one of our longtime beginning church
Charter
members.
member, yes.
We found out that Mary Sexton passed away.
Yes,
very
very
unexpectedly
unexpectedly.
this
Yeah.
morning, early this morning, and it's really.
It's
You said
saddened their
that
hearts.
today has been a disconnected type of day.
Yeah.
And we have been working to plan her funeral and
Yes.
write her obituary. We had to scramble to get a copy of birth certificates and things of that nature to start this the ball rolling. Sorry, I can't even talk it up. Mary worked for McDonald's for about 17 years.
Yes.
Very hard, dedicated workers. So we called them today
Yeah.
and spoke to one of the managers, and the manager that was on. Mary was supposed to work this morning. She passed, we believe, while she was getting ready for work, and they just sang her praises of what a dedicated,
Yes.
sweet, kind, loving person that she was. And what really touched me is. She said, well, let us know when you're going to do the memorial service, because we're going to have to get another McDonald's crew in here to run this location, because everybody is going to be at that memorial service.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it just, if you ever knew Mary, and we'll be showing some pictures of her. She has her son Dakota. If you've ever been to Shades of Grace over the years, you know Dakota and all of his handicaps and surgeries, and the Shriners have been such a tremendous blessing to them over the years with surgeries and all. And I pray for her children, Dakota and Aaron and Beth, because Dakota and Aaron are really special needs, more than anyone else we know right now. And it's just, Mary was such a wonderful, dedicated mother who loved her children even right up until the end. So just remember them. It's truly just cast a sadness over us today.
she was their caregiver,
Yes,
and this is going to be a hard situation.
it's
for the
very
family.
hard.
an unexpected death is always hard.
Yes.
But there's a lot of uncertainties with this
Yes.
situation. So
Yes.
pray and remember them today.
We do want to remember them. And then on top of that, we're already working on 3 other funeral services here at Shades. And it's just, we've been overwhelmed, honestly. We have the service this coming Saturday at 1 o'clock for Everett Larry Smith. And then we have service, the next one, we have one scheduled for yesterday, and due to the heavy snow and the roads, that was postponed for Mrs., let me get it right.
Reba Worley.
Reba Worley.
Worley.
Reba Hilliard Worley. And her service will be now in about 2 weeks.
Yes.
Was rescheduled. And then we're doing a service for, help me.
For Pete.
Pete, yeah,
Yes.
Pete. I'm
hard.
kind of lost it here today.
Yeah.
But we're working on a lot, and it's just kind of overwhelming at the moment. Trying to do all the other things we do, planning services and helping people and feeding people and doing all we do. It just gets overwhelming
Yeah,
sometimes.
it does.
So,
It does, so.
yeah.
But
we got the victory.
that's right. And we've got a good show for you tonight.
Yes, yes.
We have a very, very special guest
Yes, you're gonna
coming up
wanna
for you.
see
This
that.
one's been in the works for a while.
Yeah.
And you're going to want to hang tight to hear this. And I had something planned for this show
Oh, did
tonight.
you?
I did. I was going to do something different instead of the trivia.
Okay.
But just today's not the day.
Okay.
Today's not the day to do that. And but if I can, I'd like to share a scripture.
Yeah, please. Please do.
It's a good comfort scripture. It's one that we all know, but it speaks good to us today. This is from John chapter 14, starting in verse 1. It says, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms, and if that were not so, would I have told you that I'm going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you may also be where I am. You know the way to the place where I'm going." And then Thomas said to him, "Lord, we don't know where you are going, so how can we know the way?" And Jesus answered, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you really know me, you will know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him and you have seen him." And I'll end here. And Philip said, "Lord, show us the Father, and that will be enough for us." So that will take place for the little thing I had planned, but we will do it next week.
Okay, good.
We will do it in place.
Well, we're
of
always
trivia.
subject to change here, you know that.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was comforting today.
Good. Yeah, and we need that. So many families that have lost loved ones, and I mentioned on Saturday, one of my family members has, anyway, it's a long story. A young man, 33 years old, died from a fentanyl overdose last week. And they chose to have no services, no funeral, no visitation. And that we're seeing that more and more, aren't we, Jimmy?
We are.
Of just
We are.
people die and they say there will be no services. And we all need to be remembered. We all need to
Yes.
try to support one another. But people are living in a difficult time and they're overwhelmed. So just pray for all of us here. Some days we just have our spoons full.
And many times people just don't know what
They
to do.
don't know what to do.
They don't know the process, the procedure.
Right.
And where is the first place they call?
Right.
Right
Shades
here,
of Grace.
Shades of Grace.
Yeah.
They don't,
Yeah.
you think the first thing that somebody would do would be call a funeral home or get something, but many people don't understand it. Many people don't
Right.
know these unexpected things are just thrown in,
Right.
into their life at such a, just a surprise and a shock.
Right.
Then they really
When they
don't know
least
what to do.
expect it, yeah.
And so I'm thankful that we are here to
Yes.
be able to help.
Yes.
Thankful for Trinity Memorial Funeral Home,
Yes.
who helps us in so many of those situations. And they're such nice, kind,
Yes.
caring people.
Yes.
I don't mind to send someone to them
Right.
because I know that they're going to be well taken care of.
And we appreciate you, Jimmy, for being the best administrator that we could know right now. You're
Well.
perfectly in order to be the one for this time. You know, the story of Ruth and Naomi and the Esther, the queen, and another story in the Bible. Everything has a season and a time. But even in Esther, it said, she has come to the kingdom for such a time as this. And you've been with us here all along, but we didn't really know that you were going to end up being the administrator, and you're now in your
No.
third year
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
So
wow.
we appreciate all
Yeah,
you do.
well, thank
Jimmy
you.
goes far above and beyond. That's the third time there. Let's see. You want me to get it?
Yeah, hold on just a second. All right, well, that kind of finishes up our part. Yeah, sorry for all the interruptions,
Yeah.
but hey, it's
Hey,
Shades of Grace.
this is just Shades of Grace. Terry just left. He usually answers the phone, or Steve, or someone, but Terry was taking a box of food to a family, and that's actually from the family
Okay.
where he is taking the food to Lynn Garden.
Okay,
So
good.
Terry had left out just as we started to record to deliver a box of food. So anyway,
right.
we're here to do what we can,
That's
and the
right.
Lord will can what we do.
That's right.
Okay, we want to see you
All right.
on Facebook Live and in church Saturday morning. If it's too cold, we'll still be here to record and come to you virtually if we have to. But we will be doing something, okay?
Yes,
Follow
yes.
our Facebook
Yeah.
page.
That's how you want to stay updated on what's going on.
Yeah.
That's the best way, is our Facebook page. So thank you for being
Thanks,
with
Jimmy.
us. Thank you, Pastor Will.
Okay.
Love you all.
Bye. Good night. Stay
Thank-
tuned right
yeah.
now for our special guest. Here we go. Okay, everybody, we're back, and I told you we're going to have a special guest on the Will and Jimmy show tonight. So I would like to introduce to you Michael from,
Hunger First.
say it like
Michael
you,
Gillis. Hunger First. Yeah.
and this is the Will and,
Jimmy Show.
oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Michael show.
Well, I mean, just for a moment, I guess.
This is your moment, Michael.
Oh, well, thank you.
Hey, we love to cut up and have fun here.
Awesome.
And so this is Michael Gillis from Hunger First right here in Kingsport. And so, Michael, we appreciate what you do in the community. And why don't you let the folks know a little bit about how your work began and what you do? Let the folks know.
Well, I'd been working with my mom there on Myrtle Street for a couple of years. She'd started quite a long time ago, back in '98, bunch of friends. But it got started, actually, my real work started when she was killed in a car accident. And
And what year was that?
it was actually 2014 of January 25th, which
Okay.
is coming up.
Oh, my, that's coming
Yeah,
up
yeah.
next week.
Yeah, it'll be,
Wow.
be 10 years.
Okay.
January.
Well, I remember when that happened. It was the same year that we opened here, late in
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the year, but I didn't know you then. I would have, I didn't
Yeah.
know, but I do remember
Yeah.
hearing about that. So
Yeah.
so you're carrying on the legacy of your mom.
Oh yeah.
So I
that's the
didn't, I
purpose.
didn't realize that your mom had passed that soon after we came here. So it had only been a matter of 8 or 9 months.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, so-
I think honestly there's a reason behind everything.
Yeah.
When you look back on it. So I think there was a big reason because of the transition and everything that your ministry was able to pick up. Where
Yeah.
the transition was happening, and yeah.
Okay, well, we're thankful. And when your mom started that, it was Cindy's Corner. Is that right?
No, it was actually she worked with Rachel Bliss in quite a few years and years ago, back in the early '90s, with Tennessee and Virginia Hunger Coalition.
Okay.
I think Geraldine Swaggerty was
Yes, okay.
involved in that as well.
Okay.
A little bit, and but there was something that happened up in the state, and they had to stop. They had to close all the books, and my mom was not willing, because somebody had came to help her when we were in the middle of what we were going through when we were younger as kids. But through that, there were people. She said, "I don't want to stop." They had a little bit of money left, and that's when they were up here by the music shop on Center Street.
Okay.
And they went to the newspapers and asked for donations, and people come in from there. She just kept on.
So she just kind of picked up where they left
Yep,
off,
and that's when she wanted
didn't
to
let
call
the
it
dream
that.
die.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
That's how she come up with Hunger First, because that's when you're out there, that's all you think of.
Right,
or when
absolutely,
You're hungry.
yeah.
I mean, it's the first thing.
Yeah, you got to take care of the hunger before you can. You got to feed the physical man before
Yeah.
you can help the spiritual man.
Absolutely.
How can you sit and listen to a sermon
Yeah.
if you're hungry?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's why Jesus said, "You feed them."
That's right. That's where all that comes from.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, sure is.
So, and I know a couple of years ago, you were able to, I think it was during the pandemic, you were able to make a trip back to California and to take your mom's cremains and
Yep, right before.
put her
Yes,
to
sir.
rest. Was that before the pandemic started?
It was actually during, so California was in the middle of all that.
Okay.
And
So-
there are bigger cities and whatnot. It had not reached, they hadn't put us under all the mask wearing and everything
Okay.
until I started coming back.
But, okay,
Yeah,
so,
by the time
okay.
I got back.
Well, I remember when you went out to California to fulfill your mom's wishes of
Yeah.
having her put to
It was
rest.
really pretty out
Yeah,
there.
okay.
A lot of memories.
Yeah, okay.
Really nice.
Well, that's good, and I know you speak about your mom often and the
Yeah.
dream that she had, and it must be a real thing of honor to know that you picked up where she left off and to carry on her dream of feeding the hungry, helping the people. That's the true test of Christianity. Did you know that? You know that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Jesus said, "I was hungry and you fed me." That's primary.
Yeah, Mom used to call it the Jesus walk.
It is. Amen.
Yeah.
I wish I got to know her.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, actually quite a few people miss that, because she was, I guess, where she felt like she was timid when it come to men in men's world, but I mean, she was fierce, don't get me wrong. Oh, was a pretty fierce lady when it come to getting her point across. You can ask anybody that's still around, that had to come and get help from her and whatnot, that they'll tell you that my mom was a no BS kind of lady. Especially if
She's a true advocate. wasn't she?
Absolutely.
For the underdog.
Absolutely, she was. And she pushed and pushed and pushed, and I just I know a lot of people take where I come in and with the help of others, I most definitely have done a lot for her, for the organization, for Hunger First, and
Sure.
for her.
Right.
Is what I really want people to understand. This was her organization. This was her baby.
Right.
And it's just the love of a son. That because of that same kind of love
Right.
she showed me when I was homeless.
Right.
And in the middle of all my addictions and all that stuff, that she showed me the unconditional love and tolerance. So that is the reason. That is how that came about.
So that's why you're so strong in your drive to carry this on, the justice piece.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of injustices in the world, and
Yeah.
especially when people are unable to fight for themselves or speak up for themselves.
Yes, sir. There
So
is.
you're, in the Old Testament, I was thinking about the prophet Elijah and Elisha. They sound similarly, but Elijah was the older prophet, and when it came time for him to end his ministry in life, he passed the mantle on down to Elisha, and so. Yeah.
See, that's what I love watching about your show and stuff. Even I thought that I had recognized or retained quite a bit of what I've read. I always learn something new, and I know,
Okay. Yeah.
it makes me want to go back.
Yeah. Well, it's there's a pattern there all throughout the Old Testament, but again, what you're doing is so valuable, and I just want all of you to know that Michael at Hunger First is doing a great work, and I know sometimes he gets all kinds of bad news. People try to say, anyway,
Yeah.
the story I'm going to use,
Yeah,
I'll use
yeah.
another Bible story.
Yeah.
In the Old Testament, Nehemiah was called to build the wall of Jerusalem, to rebuild the wall. And the enemy, Sanballat, kept coming over to Nehemiah sending a messenger and said, why don't you come down from where you're at and do something else? Come over, there's a little place called Ono. You ever read that? O-N-O. And I preached that one time, don't go to the land of Ono. But the enemy kept saying, come down to Ono and let's talk about it. And he said, oh no, because if I leave my job on the wall, then, who's going to do it?
Right.
And so no matter I guess I'm trying to say the backlash or the gossip or the bad word or whatever people try to say about the work you do, you've been persistent and you've been faithful and you've been consistent and carried on through a whole lot of stuff.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you. We really do.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
We want all of you to know that we pray for Michael. We consider Michael a part of our congregation here at Shades of Grace. The last least lost and lonely, we're all in ministry together. And what we can't do, you can do. And what you can't do, somebody else can. But it's a networking. And we all are important. And we need to learn this, that in this city, we all need to be working together instead of working against.
Absolutely, I agree.
And so that's so important.
I agree. That's the reason why it works. The reason why all of the different places work is because there's no one human the same.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So that, and it should be met at a round table because there's no one person higher.
Right.
Above the other,
We're all on an even level. Well, we're recording this actually on Monday. Normally we do this on Tuesday, but with the weather changes and all this, Michael wasn't able to meet with us on Tuesday. And it's snowing, but just like you said, every person is different. They say every snowflake is totally uniquely different from another. Now, whoever figured that out, I don't know.
Right.
But if you look at them under a microscope, there's all kinds of shapes and sizes.
Yep.
But one thing here, do you know what is at the nucleus of every snowflake that falls? A little particle of dust.
Wow.
Yeah. It's, I read that somewhere that the moisture gathers around the little particle of dust, and for every snowflake, there's a little particle of dust that forms around that. I don't know if that's true. Maybe you all can prove me wrong, but I read that somewhere. Some of you folks that know a whole lot more than I do, let me know if that's true or not. But if that is true, even though the snow is as white can be, there's that little particle of dust even inside of that. So there's got to be a sermon there somewhere.
Oh, I guarantee there is.
So even in the best of us, there's a little bit of dust, and even in the worst of us, there's a little bit of snow. How's that?
Absolutely.
But Michael, let the folks know where your ministry is located right now, and what a little bit of what you do. I know you do a lot of work in Greenville too, in Greene County.
Yeah.
So just let the folks know what you do.
We actually, we've been, for 2 years now, we've been in Lynn Garden, 1697 Lynn Garden.
You've been there how long now?
2 years
Are
now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. How can that be?
Yeah. We had worked on this, and thanks to a good friend of ours, now landlord, Lisa Denton, Lisa Dean Denton, that she brought us in there. And of course, I know he receives a lot of flack sometimes, but actually, a guy that I know, you know of him too, Malcolm Staller had did some work for her, and that's how we found her. But just recently, also we opened up an actual brick and mortar area of building up in Greenville. And our friends there, Michelle and Jamie and her volunteers.
Now, am I correct in thinking you had a ministry going on in December with the Catholic Church there in Greenville?
We did not. It was that they just stepped to the forefront, and I guess they just...
anyway, you were involved in that somehow.
A little bit. I wouldn't say quite a lot. I think what it was is not so much physically, it was just maybe of how the word got out of what we were doing there, because I know Michelle and her volunteers, they invite and allow the homeless there to kind of stay there for a little bit during the day and feed them and stuff.
At the place in Greenville. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And even though it's small, they still allow a few people. But we did the same programs as we did out of Myrtle Street. I mean, yeah, we do. We've always done clothes and food, but that's just a way into the social
Right.
system, my mom would say. That's just like
Right.
I said earlier, it's just a way to get people
Right.
in. But we do all sorts of other programs, and I would encourage everybody, honestly, I would encourage everybody to come out and really, and get back in touch with us, those of you
Yes.
that have lost,
Yes.
and thought that we were gone. We've always been here. We actually haven't stopped.
Just change location.
Just change locations,
Yes.
and building up where we left off.
And you have a free store. I mean, you have a store with groceries, with clothing, with all kinds of things, and it's free. And you just let people come in and shop, right?
Absolutely.
For whatever they need.
Yeah.
So tell them about that.
That we've always done free clothes, but something different this time around, and I thought that would help with people. We've actually started, if you would, a free grocery store where they can come through and get what they need as far as canned goods and non-perishable items. And of course, we give them the meat afterwards. But I think, with that being said, I think it helps out with one's pride and ego.
Well, and like you said, if you're just handing someone a bag of groceries, which we do that on an emergency basis here, but we don't have people, they may have kids who are picky, who won't eat it, or
Right.
maybe allergies
Yeah.
that they can't
Yep.
eat it.
Yep.
And what you're doing is maintaining that sense of dignity and
Yep.
letting the people come in and say, well, I maybe not am able to use this, but I can use this.
Absolutely.
Without food being wasted.
Absolutely. And I think instead of just filling the cupboards of the same thing,
Right.
that they have a choice now. As of right now, because we're moving things around and doing things different on the inside, we went back to doing the food boxes.
Okay.
But we do ask you if you need this or
Okay,
if you need
good.
that,
Right.
or if you could use this when it's
Right.
available.
Right.
And I do encourage people to, again, those of you that thought that we were done, I encourage those of you to please, if you're not already donating to somebody else, I encourage them to donate to us
Right.
again, and that includes
Yeah, if you all wish to donate canned goods, what do you think? Frozen
non-perishable,
foods,
frozen foods,
anything.
because we have freezers. We also have a refrigerator that we can keep stuff.
Okay.
And we never stopped our Tuesday, Thursday meals, which we Pastor Bob of his ministry. He's been with us a few years now, but him and his group go around every Tuesday, Thursday, but they deliver not just on the streets, but they deliver to the extended stay hotels as
okay,
well.
right.
So, that's
Wherever the
a
people
blessing
are.
in itself,
Right.
absolutely. Wherever people's hungry, and I think that's
Sure,
where it led
exactly.
him in that group.
Well, a lot of folks think that because we're feeding homeless and unfortunate that we're enabling things. And I have to tell you, and I wasn't going to say anything about it, but I got to tell you this. We have cameras on our doors, our
Right.
front doors, and whatever is said there, we can hear, and
Sure.
it's recorded.
Yep.
And just last night, and I won't mention any names or anything, but there were some police officers came walking by, and I guess they were training another officer about all the downtown, and we could pick it up on the cameras, and they said, well, this is Shades of Grace, and Pastor Shuey runs this, and we know he's trying to do a good thing, but he's really enabling the people. And that came through on our camera, so we've got it preserved for our archives. But hey, it's like Jesus said, these people are hungry, who's going to feed them?
Who's going to feed them?
And if we're not feeding them, unfortunately, some of them are going to be breaking into your houses to get what they need to get food, because that's just the reality. Yes, sometimes we do have to serve folks that we know are abusing the system in order to help those who are not abusing the system.
Absolutely.
But the bottom line is that's not our problem, because Jesus simply said, if they're hungry, you feed them.
That's right.
And that's
Period.
what we're doing, hunger
Period.
first. All right?
That's it.
So Michael, can we close on a note like that?
Absolutely.
Okay, I wasn't going to get that in, but I thought,
That's perfect.
it's a good opportunity.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, so just be careful. Know you're on camera and being recorded wherever you go, okay? All right, Michael, have a good night. Thank you so
You too.
much.
Thank you,
God bless
too.
you.
Thank you,
And
Pastor.
again, hunger first, Kingsport, Tennessee. As you would say, peace out.
Yeah, the peace out. Love you guys.
Bye.